Welcome, Lumineers and fans of the happiest card game on earth, Lorcana. Disney Lorcana is a new trading card game releasing in the fall of 2023. It's being developed by Ravensburger, who have a long history of making pretty awesome board games. They've been going since the 1800s, and their most notable and one of the most recent games they've developed is the Villainous series of board games, an asymmetrical Euro-like game where you take on the persona of a famous Disney villain and try and backstab your way to the win. They're very popular, they're very fun, and they play really quite well considering it's an IP game. Normally games based on other IPs don't do that great. Villainous is actually a really good game. So whilst they haven't actually launched a full-on trading card game before, it's pretty much in safe hands as far as the company that's developing it goes. I say a full-on trading card game because that's exactly what this is. It's going to be going up against the likes of Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, and Yu-Gi-Oh! They've already announced that there are going to be 4 sets being released a year, the first of which is called the First Chapter, but otherwise we know very little about how the actual game will work. They have said that the focus is going to be on the Disney characters and storytelling, and it's going to be relatively competitive light, but they have said that they are working on a robust organized play system, and it is going to be a competitive game as opposed to a cooperative thing. Here I would imagine what they mean is that you can kind of work on your own thing and have possible separate win conditions other than just killing the other opponents, and perhaps we won't see that much emphasis on things like countering or stopping the other player doing something that they want to try and do. In the game, you will take on the role of an Illumineer in the Great Illuminary, a kind of mystical library where all of the Disney songs and stories are stored. The first batch of these are going to be revealed at D23 in just a few days as this video comes out. D23 is Disney's fan expo. It happens every year in Anaheim, and they have told us that we are going to be seeing the first 7 cards as part of their game and merchandise showcase on the Saturday. The fact that the key art we've seen so far and the mention that a lot of the art is based on the early movies' storybook style intros with a modern twist suggests that most of the cards we're going to see, at least to begin with, are going to be tied up in that classic Disney lore. Think everything from Mickey Mouse to Cinderella and 101 Dalmatians. This makes a lot of sense, honestly. Disney's copyright is pretty tied down on a lot of that older stuff, and the licensing is relatively kept in-house as opposed to more modern IPs that have kind of got little bits all over the place. They've also said that specifically that this is a collaboration between Ravensburger and Walt Disney Animation Studios as opposed to just Disney in general. So imagine to start off with, at least you're going to be seeing a lot of Simba versus Moana, or the Seven Dwarfs versus Elsa. So for now, at least, Pixar and Disney's more recent acquisitions such as Star Wars and Marvel seem to be off the table, but if this game does well and continues for many years, I'd be amazed if we don't see tie-ins with some of those other worlds. As far as the actual IPs and characters we're going to see, I think it's pretty safe to say you can take a look at some of Disney's other ventures into the gaming space recently, such as Kingdom Hearts and Mirrorverse, to really see the sort of characters we're going to be playing along with. The game has been in development for apparently 4 years now, and its lead designer has come off the back of some other very popular trading card games, including the recent relaunch of Digimon. So it's in pretty safe hands. Unfortunately, right now we know very little, but that doesn't mean we can't do some wild speculation. Whilst all of the press releases have said that this game is going to go up against Magic the Gathering, I would imagine this game is actually going to be looking to take some of the Pokemon crowd, as that's the game that's currently on the market where this has the most similarities. It is a family-friendly IP that has been going for a good number of years now, where the original target audience has now grown up into an audience that has a disposable income and is still involved with the IP on a nostalgia level. And also they're going to be looking at ways to get their children involved as well. My kid absolutely adores board games, but there's no way he's able to play Magic the Gathering at the moment. It's just too complicated. Currently can't really play Pokemon either. He's 5 years old, but he still likes collecting the cards and looking at the characters, and some of them he recognises from the TV show. A TV show that isn't currently airing for his demographic. It's the ones I used to watch as a kid that I'm putting on for him. All of that describes Pokemon, but could easily describe Disney as well. And I think that's really where this game is going to do well. Disney's got a lot of experience with making these kind of larger world games where a lot of its different IPs are smushed together into a cohesive space. Disney Infinity was its version of Skylanders, the little models that you can scan in to play in video games, and it did okay for a time. It seems to have fizzled out now. I think the biggest problem with that was it kind of came late into that sort of bubble of figures into games popping. But other successful IPs from Disney, such as Kingdom Hearts and Mirrorverse, show how open it is to smashing all of its IPs together and how well and cohesively it manages to do it. Of course, this is all actually designed and created by Ravensburger, but all of this is going to go straight back to the mouse to get cleared off. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. Having a game publisher deal with this completely and giving a license fee back to Disney, which is, I imagine, how this is working. Again, wild speculation alert. That's actually a pretty good thing. It means that Ravensburger are going to be much more invested in this product working as a game, because that's where the longevity of these things come. There is no denying that the reason Magic the Gathering and Pokemon have both done so well is because they have a really great grassroots approach. You will go and find these games getting played in local game stores. And whilst you'll see them occasionally do like special Target or Walmart only promos, actually getting people playing them in smaller spaces that are designed and built for these games is really where the long tail of these products come from. There's no denying that Lorcana is going to be an incredibly well-selling product. People going on about card game investors already looking at this, the people who buy pallets of MetaZoo and Flesh and Blood as an investment think that this is going to do really well. They haven't seen nothing until they see Disney collectors. They make Beanie Baby collectors look like casual fanboys. This stuff will sell, and it will sell by the buckets. But for it to do well as far as Ravensburger is concerned, for it to do well as a game, they really need to figure out what this organised play system is going to be and how well it actually moves into the local stores. I may be a little bit biased because I work in one of these stores, but I've seen a lot of these games come and go over the years, and almost exclusively the ones that do well are the ones that really promote actual play in stores. But saying all this, none of us really have an idea of how well this is going to go. It's an incredibly difficult space to make a mark in. There are some games coming out now that are doing okay, Flesh and Blood and MetaZoo probably being the most recent success stories, but the numbers of product they're selling is nothing compared to what Disney are going to want to consider Lorcana a success. Saying that, we haven't seen a huge IP such as Disney come into this space for a good long while. There are other trading card games based on IPs that come and go, My Little Pony, Transformers, but all of these pale in comparison to how much money and how many different characters Disney have to throw at this thing. Pokemon is the largest brand in the world as far as pure revenue goes for stuff with Pikachu printed on it. The second one being Hello Kitty, and the other top 20 are a selection of some stuff that's never come out of Japan, and then pretty much exclusively stuff that Disney now owns. So overall, I'm incredibly excited for Lorcana. Not only am I a manager at a local game store that sells a lot of trading card games, I'm also a big fan of the games myself. I play a lot of them and collect a lot of them. I'm also a huge Disney fan, the movies, the parks. I'm actually one of the few people that actually likes all the new Star Wars stuff. I am a Disney adult, but I'm a self-aware one, so that should count for something. And I do have a son that I can pretend a lot of this is for, so that helps. The trading card game space is an incredibly difficult one to break into, but if anyone has the money and the IP to put behind it, it's Disney. And we'll be keeping you up to date with every single scrap of an announcement up until the launch next year here on the Lumineers. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already so you don't miss a video from us, and give the video a like as well. It really does help new people find us. So until next time, think happy thoughts, keep swimming, and let your conscience be your guide. I'm John T for the Lumineers. I'll see you next time.